Hello there. Welcome back to Empower Your Soul. It's so cool to me how the universe works in such mysterious ways because I just get the right information at the right time. And I'm here to do this really quick podcast episode. And there is a lot of questions with my mentees about basic spiritual stuff that, you know what, it's been a few years. Like I have breezed over this. I haven't thought about this. I know there's very strong opinions on some of this stuff. So I love this. It's like revisiting spirituality 101 with me and assessing, do I have the same perspective that I used to have? And like I'm glad to say I have changed my mind on a lot of things. So I want to talk about grounding, clearing, protecting energy in this episode. But I think there's other things that will eventually pop up. And by the way, I am always proud. I am okay. I'm pausing for a second because I am an eternal perfectionist, right? Perfectionism is definitely some trauma I got in my youth. And I mean, you're talking to somebody who graduated sixth in their class in high school. I think I was fourth in my college. And so perfectionism for me is definitely a flaw and not an attribute that I'm proud of. And it has been a lifetime of overcoming perfectionism and really because it's all about trying to fit the mold of others, right? Perfectionism is the way that I would get attention and love. So if I'm perfect, I'm deserving of love. But I digress. Anyway, so it's been this lifetime for me to undo this perfectionism. And so it is so cringe to me to have my social media account. And to be honest with you, have this podcast a little bit too, because what I put out here, out on the web, as in someone who used to work in IT, I know it's forever. And so like I look at my most cringe videos on TikTok that have gone viral and they've been out there for like a year and a half now. And I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I look so tired. I look so sad. And this is when I was corporate, so that both of those things are true. But also there's so much I didn't learn yet. And so I want to pay homage to any of you to where you're at in your journey, because it's exactly where you're supposed to be. And the opinions you have today are the exact opinions you're supposed to have today. And just if you get more information and change your mind on some of these opinions, perspectives, I'm fucking celebrating you, because that means you are growing. You are not one of those stick in the mud people who set a decision and come hell or high water, decide that this is exactly what I need to do. And I'm flawed. I'm a failure. I'm a fake. I'm an F. if I change my mind, because I think it's unrealistic to expect that we have all of the information at the time we're expressing these opinions. And I just, so I'm celebrating me. I'm giving myself a pat on the back today, because even in my most recent Talking to the Dead 101 classes, I teach people how to ground and center and clear your energy before readings. And I think it's important. I think it's a very important topic to learn. And for those of us that have auras that are like Sevs, and those of us that are empaths and pick up on the emotions and energies of others, it is super important in your journey to learn how to ground, center, and clear your energy. Because when you're starting this journey, you don't know what's what. You don't know what's yours, what's other people's energy. And so it's really important for you to put this like protective barrier on in your aura. And by the way, it's super easy for those of you that aren't sure how to do this. When you ground, you're going to have your feet on the ground. Doesn't matter. You can be in a second floor of a house, 22nd floor of a skyrise. It doesn't matter, because your intention is that your feet are on the ground. So you're going to put your feet on the ground, on the floor, and you're going to envision roots growing down out of your feet into Mother Earth. Grow them as deep as you want to. Some people go to the center of the earth, right? Some people say like avoid don't wrap them around. I don't know. I don't get too technical with this, because it's all about the intention of connecting to Mother Earth. And then clearing is essentially you're sending any energy that's not yours down out through your feet into Mother Earth through your roots. And Mother Earth she's my ride or die, you know? She takes that energy and she transmutes it for me, the dear. I love her. She's my best friend, which is why I just whisper to her all the time, thank you, Mother Earth, you're amazing. So that's kind of like grounding and clearing your energy. And by the way, if you're doing this and you feel tingling on the bottom of your feet, that's that energy leaving. And I have to tell you, every night when I get in my recliner and I put my feet up, they're not on the ground. I don't think that honestly really matters. But every night at the end of the day, when I put my feet up, I feel the bottom of my feet tingle. And I'm like, there goes all of the energy from the day. And it's like, I think I subconsciously set the intention of releasing the day's energy. So it happens, whether you like it or not, like is the reality of it with me. But so we talked about grounding. We talked about clearing. Centering is the idea that you give your energy, your power to others. So all you have to do is call back your energy. And the way this looks in my head is like Iron Man, everybody. I literally envision plates of my energy that I've given to other people, not on purpose, usually, but they come flying back at me, and it's like bringing it back into my aura, and it's like my energy coming back and filling in all the holes on my aura. And then, I mean, that's grounding, centering, and clearing. You can do it in, you have to kind of ground first, and then you can center and clear in whatever direction you probably want to center and then clear, because if you get that energy back, might have a little residual energy, but bring that Iron Man energy back at you, have it fly at you like metal plates that encompasses your energy field, and then clear the energy that's not yours. So that's grounded, centering, clearing. And again, this is a really good exercise. And by the way, if you want to protect at a whole other level to that, once you've grounded, centered, cleared, all you do is imagine that you have an egg all around you that goes 3 feet out from your body. So imagine, your arm's length all around you from every direction, including in the ground. And that's your energy field. And all you have to do is like set the intention that it is solid. Set the intention that the outside is like a mirror. And that essentially creates the intention that I'm not going to take in other people's energies, and whatever they come at me, it's going to bounce back to them. And I think that's the crazy work about all of this energy. It's all intention. Everything I do is intention. I set the intention to connect to your loved ones. I set the intention to connect the Akashic records. I mean, it really is. And it ain't rocket science. It's rocket science to trust it. It takes a very long time to trust that. But once you've had enough reading sessions, validations from other people, you're like, oh no, this is absolutely working. And then I'm at the point where now I feel energy, so I know it's working. It happens in moments I'm not even setting the intention for it to happen. I'm like, oh, what did that just happen? What did that just do? So where the hell was I going with this? So as a practitioner that's starting your journey, learning this method of grounding, centering, clearing, protecting your aura field is super important, because you have yet to really work with and understand your own energy. You don't know what's yours and what's other people's. And until you can start, I don't know why, you're going to have to, they're showing me something in my head. I don't understand it yet. I know they're trying to be funny, but you're going to have to bring it to me in a different way. But until you go and do this, you don't know what your own energy is like. So it gets very difficult to discern what's yours and what's other people. And that's honestly the beginning of the process for learning for a lot of people. Is just like, let me figure out what's mine and what's not mine. And they just keep in my head showing me like a casino, right? Imagine the energy of a casino. How do you feel when you go into a casino? Because if you are not protecting your energy or setting the intention not to bring in any other people's, and think of how many people come through there. Think about the crazy energy. Think about like the chain smokers, right? So you, and like, I don't know about you, and this is true with Great Wolf Lodge with me with the kids, right? When you get overstimulated and overwhelmed. And honestly, there's like in every little moment, things are fine, but it adds up. It adds up and it adds up and it adds up. So it's like these layers of energy just keep coming in. And then you feel fucking crazy and you're like, I need to get out of here. I need fresh air. So this is the feeling for a lot of people that are in large crowds, that can't go in large crowds, that can't go to concerts, that can't go to public spaces, and they get overwhelmed, is because they're not fucking protecting their energy. They're not setting the intention to not have everything in. So it overwhelms them. So that's your key. Something's got to give. Because if you're protected, if you were setting the intention not to take on others' energy, you're going to be fine. And that's why most people are fine, because they're not even like walking around with this. Most people have like cement walls around them. But empaths have like a cheese grater around them that lets in all the freaking energy. So, all right, I'm bringing it back. I'm reeling it in. So as I'm talking about this, a lot of beginner mediums or beginner metaphysical practitioners need to start with understanding your energy. And so that is key when you're, for example, reading dead people, because the energy of your sitter is across from you, whether they're in person or they're across the world. The energy of the spirit's going to come in, and you have to know what your baseline is. So as other people's energy comes in, you know whether it's yours or not, right? So it just takes time. Like there's no fast track around this. It just takes time for you to learn, for you to practice. A weird thing that happened to me when I started reading about this is, and by the way, a great book, I think it's Energy Healing for Empaths by Lisa Campion. Fantastic book for anyone, metaphysical practitioner, everyday person, don't matter. But she teaches you how to do these things. And she's got some amazing tools in her book. And one of them is that I never realized is you pick up on the physical ailments of others around you. And I can't tell you how many times I felt exhausted. I'm just driving around and suddenly I got a headache. And I'm like, what the? And lo and behold, now I've learned, I ask around the car now. I'm like, hey kids, who's got the headache? And then my daughter will inevitably raise her hand. I'm like, oh, it's you. Okay. And a really cool thing is just check in with yourself and be like, is this mine? Is this energy? Is this headache mine? Is this sad energy? Is this mine? And you can either do muscle testing, you can do body pendulum testing, you can do regular pendulum testing. Like you can do anything that gives you a yes, no, or just use your intuition. And that'll tell you whether this is yours or not. And if it's not, fucking clear it. Get rid of it, right? Through the methods I've told you, or just kick that energy out and be like, no, thank you. You're out. I make it sound so glamorous, don't I? This metaphysical work, just kick it out, right? And in case you're wondering what my classes are like, they're kind of like this, because I just tell you how it is. And I'm like, stop thinking that, don't overcomplicate it. This work does not need to be overcomplicated. We are literal spirits in the physical world. You have all the tools. Your intention is everything that you need. It's not hard. I digress again. I think it's time for me to go get some tea and sit down after this. But as you go on in this metaphysical work, you inherently know what's yours and what's not yours. So if you asked me when I started this work, I do it with the beginner's class. If grounding and clearing your energy before and after a mediumship reading is needed, I would have said absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. You need to do it. You are creating a blank space for spirit. You need to do it. And then I just had my mentee text me before this, and she's like, hey, I am around people all day long. Do I need to ground and clear my energy if I don't feel like I need to? And I'm like, no, because at a certain point, you don't need to. And I'm going to get crucified for this, I feel like. But I have to say it because I'm admitting it. I am 100% admitting it. I do not ground and clear my energy for shit. Okay. My grounding is me going for a walk outside. And it's not like I'm setting the intention. And maybe this is a projector thing. Maybe this is an intuitive thing that I just do, because a lot of what I do just comes out of my mouth. It's like claircognizance. I just know. A lot of things I do, I just inherently just do because I know that I need to do it. So this might just be the way that I function, and you might be very different. And I want to celebrate the different ways that we do things. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I don't. I know when I get overwhelmed, I take a nap that resets my energy, projector over here, right? Or I go for a walk, I get outside. And that alone removes any energy that's not mine, refreshes me, brings me back to center. So no, I don't ground and clear before or after my readings ever, but I do pay attention to my own energy and what I need. Do I need more water? Do I need grounding? Like, do I need foods that come from Mother Earth because that's grounding, right? Do I have rocks next to me for my shamanism class? Do I just hold a a stone after reading because I feel very ungrounded, right? I think my favorite thing that I do is at a crystal mine after I do my demonstrations, after everybody leaves, every single time I go over to the fluorite. And they have these massive, I really want to take one home one of these days. I'll buy it eventually. They have these massive fluorite crystals that are just like raw. They aren't spheres. They're just raw. They're taken right out of Mother Earth. And I just literally go over and put my hands on it. And I can feel the energy of this huge honkin' fluorite just coming in, and I can feel it just humming in my heart and refreshing me and bringing me back to balance. So no, I don't do it. I don't ground and clear, but I find my own ways to rebalance my energy. And I'm going to encourage you to do the same, because a lot of people that want to put this stuff in a script for you, tell you there's a right way and a wrong way to do all these things. These are the gatekeepers that want to keep you out. These are the gatekeepers that want you to keep taking classes, that want you to do it their way because they're right. And isn't that an ego trip, right? So whatever you do, and I've been saying this all week to my clients, so I want to say this to you too. Whatever you do and however you do it, I will be the one to tell you you're not crazy. Okay? I will be the one to tell you that that's cool. Show me how you did it. I love that you did it that way. That's really unique to you. So, I mean, could we be in the loony bin? Probably. Right? But I'm going to tell you, I will always celebrate you finding your own way to do things, because the more that we can open up to the expansiveness of the universe and the spirit world that knows no limits, that has no beginning and no ending and no rules, because as soon as you think there's a rule, it's almost like the energy comes in and says, try again. Let me prove to you that you're wrong. And I'm not the only one that's experienced this. I have other metaphysical practitioners I work with that experience the same thing, because as soon as you try to put anything in a box in the spirit world, it's like they say, fuck you. We're going to show you that you're wrong. Because when I say unlimited potential, everything has unlimited potential. When we're talking about 7D, 5D, 7D, that there's 12 levels, there's probably about 2 billion and 3, right? Because we don't know. And so if the universe can create and invent itself and create new ways of being and doing and seeing, so can you. And we might be stuck in our fucking physical bodies here, but you are made of the stuff of stars in the universe. And I am here and supporting you in whatever your path feels right to you. You are never wrong, and you are always supported. And there is my love for you today. If you have any metaphysical shit you want my perspective on, I will 100% go back and say, this is how it was, this is how it is, and this is how I think it'll go. So if you have any questions or you want my perspective on anything, I am all ears and all microphone, and I'm happy to give my perspective. But I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care.